The story begins in Chester, a small town nestled in the landscape of England, with the fateful meeting of Kit Young and Samantha Tolley. Their relationship took root in the late fall of 1989, but circumstances demanded absolute secrecy. Kit was already married and living with his wife, while Samantha was just 14 years old, too young to fully comprehend the complexity of their relationship. She was completely captivated by the tall, blonde man who became her first boyfriend, so deeply in love that she was willing to accept a complicated arrangement. Everything shifted dramatically in 1995 when Samantha became pregnant. Now 20 years old, she was no longer content to remain in the shadows as a mistress. Kit was forced to make a definitive choice between Samantha and his wife. Ultimately, he chose Samantha, finalizing his divorce and bringing her into his home. That same year, they welcomed their first son, Joshua. Samantha had been an only child in a family that moved frequently, which meant constantly changing schools and leaving behind friendships. This nomadic lifestyle left her feeling isolated and alone. From a young age, she had harbored a deep longing for a sister, not just a temporary companion, but a lifelong best friend. These experiences shaped her dream of creating a different kind of family for herself. Determined that her own children would never experience the loneliness she had known, Samantha was committed to building a large, close-knit family. By the end of 1998, her dream was taking shape as Samantha and Kit had grown their family to 4 children, filling their home with life and connection. The young family seemed perfectly ordinary from the outside. A stay-at-home mom and a hard-working tractor driver who often brought his 4 sons to work. Yet beneath this facade, their relationship was fraught with tension and aggression. Their first serious conflicts erupted shortly after Samantha moved in with Kit. The arguments were typically sparked by Kit's mysterious absences. He would disappear for entire nights, returning only at dawn, consistently refusing to explain his whereabouts or companions. While these incidents initially remained verbal and didn't escalate to physical confrontations, they were a troubling harbinger of what was to come. After the birth of their first child, Kit committed his first physical assault on Samantha. Unwilling to silently endure such treatment, she reported him to local law enforcement. Kit was arrested, but Samantha ultimately dropped the charges. Their relationship seemed to stabilize for a brief period, and they lived relatively peacefully for a couple of years. That changed one summer evening following a night at a local bar. To Samantha's complete shock, they returned home to find a woman waiting at their doorstep, declaring she was pregnant with Kit's child. Kit vehemently denied the allegations, but a confrontation became unavoidable. During the heated argument, Kit became violent again, violently twisting Samantha's wrists. Her delicate arms were soon covered in dark bruises from his aggressive handling, which once again prompted a call to the police. By this point, they had 4 children, and after the initial anger subsided, Samantha forgave Kit and withdrew the charges once more. Similar to 3 years earlier, their relationship appeared to improve momentarily, and they officially married. However, it didn't take long for their relationship to slip back into its previous destructive patterns. Samantha recognized that she couldn't change Kit and decided leaving was her best option. She packed up her children and moved in with her relatives. This time, their separation led to a more serious legal battle over child custody. The children had deep love for both parents, their mother, who provided nurturing care and affection, and their father, with whom they enjoyed riding on his work tractor. As typically happens in such cases, the court ruled in the mother's favor, and the children remained with Samantha. According to the court's custody agreement, Kit could spend time with the children on Wednesdays and weekends. However, Samantha didn't strictly enforce these restrictions. She understood Kit's importance in their children's lives and consistently allowed him unrestricted access to see them. In March 2003, Samantha became pregnant for the 5th time, but now the father was a different man. A few months after separating from Kit, she had begun a new relationship. Her pregnancy was becoming visible, and she knew Kit would soon discover the news. Choosing to be direct, She decided to tell him herself. Initially, Kit appeared to take the news calmly. But the very next day, he arrived desperately begging her to have an abortion. He professed his love and pleaded for her to return to him. Among his passionate statements was something that caught Samantha completely off guard. Kit claimed he loved her even more than their own children. Samantha found his statement bizarre, but she remained resolute. She had already given him multiple chances in the past and had zero interest in rekindling their relationship. Her thoughts were entirely focused on her new partner and their upcoming baby. Unmoved by his emotional appeal, Samantha sent Kit away empty-handed that evening. On March 27, 2003, Kit picked up the children as he typically did to spend the day with them. He was supposed to bring the children back in the evening, but for reasons incomprehensible to Samantha, he was delayed. She tried calling him, but his phone was turned off. She managed to reach him only late at night, around 12:30 a.m. Samantha was hysterical, while Kit remained absolutely calm. The children were with him, sitting in the back seat of his SUV. She could hear them, which should have reassured her, but instead, it caused even more anxiety because instead of their joyful voices, she heard their sobbing. Then Kit uttered words that seemed to paralyze Samantha. He declared his intention to kill himself and take their children with him. He described in detail his plan. The essence was that he had locked the children in the car and intended to start a small lawnmower that would emit exhaust fumes during operation. In such a confined space as a car, it would take approximately 10 to 15 minutes for the children to inhale enough gas to die. He told Samantha, "You'll be happy. I hope you'll blame the child you're about to give birth to for this your entire life." Then he started the lawnmower and asked, "Do you hear these sounds?" It's impossible to imagine what she felt in those seconds. She heard her children's screams. Her heart was breaking with fear, but she couldn't help them. Then Kit asked, "Do you hear them?" Samantha could hear the children's crying and coughing. After that, Kit hung up. The moment this happened, Samantha immediately called the police. The officers tried to locate Kit's phone. They were close to pinpointing his location, but time was running out. It was like a hellish race between Kit and the police. What would happen first? Would the police reach his car and save the children, or would they suffocate from the harmful gases? About an hour after their initial conversation, Kit called Samantha again. In that moment, she was prepared to do anything. She promised him she would terminate the pregnancy from her other relationship and return to him. But he coldly responded, "You're too late. Daniel is already dead." Daniel was their youngest son. Samantha desperately pleaded to speak with one of the children. Kit handed the phone to their eldest son Joshua and instructed him to say goodbye to his mother and express his love for her. The moment she heard Joshua's voice, she urgently asked about their location. He replied that he didn't know. Visibility was impossible due to the surrounding smoke. Following his father's instructions, Joshua said, "I love you, Mom, goodbye." Kit then abruptly ended the conversation. Subsequently, only Kit spoke. He graphically described how their children were dying one by one, until he himself began to choke. Eventually, human voices disappeared completely. All that remained was the continuous sound of the running lawnmower, which was suddenly interrupted by the sound of shattering glass. The police had managed to trace Kit's phone. He was 30 miles from the city. Inside the vehicle were 38-year-old Kit Young and his sons, 7-year-old Joshua, 6-year-old Thomas, 5-year-old Columbus, and 3-year-old Daniel. They were immediately transported to the nearest hospital, but the medical team couldn't save any of them. No words could possibly capture or comprehend the profound, unimaginable horror Samantha experienced while helplessly listening to her children's final moments. Samantha faced an additional nightmare, identifying the lifeless bodies of her beloved sons. The aftermath revealed an even more heartbreaking dimension. Kit had not only stolen her children but also the unborn child she was carrying. The overwhelming trauma of hearing her children's final moments triggered a miscarriage, robbing her of yet another life. In May 2005, Samantha gave birth to a son she named Morgan. With raw vulnerability, she acknowledged that Morgan could never replace her lost children, but through him, she discovered a path back to love. He represented hope emerging from unimaginable darkness, a delicate testament to her resilience in the face of incomprehensible loss. In his existence, Samantha found a whisper of redemption, a chance to love again after experiencing the most devastating betrayal a mother could endure. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and support the channel by subscribing. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.